This call is now being
Say what?
it just says this call is now being recorded, you know?
Yeah, we gotta record our legacy, bro.
You're right. It is our legacy, right? When we're 50 or some shit, we're gonna look back at this, right?
Yeah, yeah,
The
bro.
game legacy.
The Game of
That
James
should be
trilogy, the Game of Thrones.
there. Yeah, yeah. The
Mm,
game of instead of Thrones, we should think of another name. That would be a good name, bro. The game of something, I
yeah,
think.
the game of what? The game
I don't
of
know.
Asians. The game of the game of unprivileged males.
The game of journey. I mean, it is forming, but I think the game of is a good to start off, and then we add something at the end. It's coming. I think in a week or two we'll have the name.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. So, what were we talking about last time, or what should we talk about this?
I don't know. Let's let it come to our mind. Well, I can share what I've learned this boot camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of personalized to me. And I learned that my communication in English and Korean are different. Like in Korea, I have this mindset of like I gotta be polite, I gotta be more careful, more cautious. But you know what? In reality, women just like bold men. Women appreciate guys who are bold. That's what I learned.
Yeah. You know, this is what I like about my opener. Like, you look really beautiful today. Because
Yeah.
the other one, I was thinking if a girl came up to me and she said, "Oh, like I don't want to name names, but this one of the most popular coaches right now. His thing is, oh, hey, there's really something interesting about your shoes." And then if someone came up to me, I'd be like, "Yeah, sure." And then what? Like, what do you want? You know what I mean?
If it's not really genuine, like spontaneous, it's not really
Yeah,
hitting, you know? And
yeah.
also,
Like,
mm,
go on, go on.
yeah, and also like one thing I learned, bro, it's not really beneficial to be explaining your situation as well. It's like, hey, excuse me, I was about to get some coffee. I was just walking around,
Bro,
blah blah
I
blah.
was telling you since day one when Sergio told you, like, I was saying day one, like this justification doesn't make sense, you know? And then my
Nobody
Berlin
cares.
coach confirmed that.
Nobody cares about your situation. If you're going abroad, if you're getting coffee, if you're meeting friends, nobody cares, bro. They just met you, right?
Yeah. Like
But
now that
it's
we have good inner game, do you actually care what someone's up to? I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
not really. Like, if I need more comfort, maybe yeah, like later words. But especially in the beginning, no. No way, bro.
Yeah, you're some random stranger on the street. Like, what do you mean? Right?
So it's like value first, perceive value first,
Exactly.
and then comforts. And
Yeah.
yeah, one thing I'd like to add on this is interesting though. Like I'm learning more and more that approaching girls is just like marketing. People are more interested about themselves. So why not just like go up to them and like say shit about them instead of talking about yourself? Instead of like, oh, like I was walking by getting some coffee, blah blah blah. No, just talk about them. Hey, I saw you
Yeah,
walking
that's
out the
fake
shop.
comfort as well.
Yeah, I saw you walking out the shop, and I was like, wow, she's beautiful.
You don't even have to do that, bro. If you say, hey, you look really beautiful today with the right eye contact, and she already knows she was walking out the shop. You don't have to narrate her life. You know what I mean?
Uh,
You know, Morgan
maybe.
Freeman in a movie, the girl walks out of the shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe, maybe.
Or like I like forward to the point girls, so it filters out. You know, this of course. Hey, I was just walking by. You look really nice, or you had an interesting look about you. I thought I'd say, what's up? I can see it working, sure, but different market.
Yeah, different market. And especially for girls who are very, very shy and timid.
Yeah, I was just going to say that for them, it might work. Oh, he was walking by. Okay, so she has time to digest what's going on. But the girls I go for, just to the point, they're getting approached all the time. You get it to the point, and then she'll look at you, and then she'll be like, "Yeah, okay." I've
Yeah.
literally seen this reaction from a girl. There was this a Russian girl, but raised in Germany. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But she basically, I said, "You look really beautiful," and I stopped her from my car while she was while she was riding a bicycle, and then she stopped and looked at me up and down, and then she said, "Okay, I'll have a chat with him." Like I could see her thought process.
Yeah.
So in a way, that sort of makes sense, right?
Mm.
Like what I'm trying to say is when I go for these really confident, really hot girls, uh, they don't have time to waste, right? A hot girl's time is like she's the president of United States. You know what I mean? Everyone wants to talk to her.
Yeah.
So for her, if you to the point and then they look at you, and if you have good body language and she likes your look, she'll give you a chance.
Yeah. Exactly. Just like business. Like once you have enough traction, like everybody wants your attention. So you're gonna be more selective.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. And you're right with the sales thing because that's what Chris always talked about, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you're the product and you're selling yourself basically.
Yeah. Exactly. Also, yeah, one thing I wanted to mention is like you got to create curiosity throughout the interaction. Like, there's a lot of guys just like having small talk, small talk, small talk, but to some extent, like cool, but it's not really moving the interaction forward. Like, uh, yeah, if you want to keep the conversation going, you need to create curiosity. That's what I learned.
Yeah. Or deep talk, man. You have to have deep talk. If you ask her deep questions, then she'll be like, oh, he really cares. Oh, he is really interested. So then
Mm.
they stop over and talk about it, you know?
What kind of deep talk do you think is deep talk?
Well, you remember this girl that was a virgin that I instant closed back in November, the
Yeah,
really pretty one.
yeah,
And for her, of course, initially it was teasing and stuff to get the, like, you can't just straight off the bat have deep talk. After an hour, we were talking about like her father had passed away. But first, I told her about my father passing away when I was 16. And she was
yeah,
19. Her father had passed away when she was 17. So she had the same story, sort of like we could go deeper into it and how she was really close to him and it sucks and stuff. She
yeah,
lives in a fucking village and yeah, it's really hard for their family now.
yeah,
But that's what I mean by deep talk, like really personal. Because if she feels comfortable, like you're connecting on a deeper level, then she'll open up to you.
yeah.
And then, of course, she'll stay. She doesn't want to talk to some drunk guy, right?
Mhm.
Or in a club. Like she wants to have a deep conversation. Well, the smarter girls, anyway.
Mhm.
The dumber ones usually see being deep, being emotionally vulnerable as a sign of weakness, so they avoid it.
Yeah. And also, those type of girls actually put too much value in like perceived value. Like, it's if
Yeah,
this.
exactly. They're the
Mhm.
Asian, the Latino girls. They're always about like social status, like fake social status.
Yeah,
Like my friend, he went on an instant date with this Latina, and he was trying to do connection building because it had worked really well for him. But this time he was having no luck, and this he called this like a nine. You know, for him it was a super hot Latin American girl, and she was talking about like, yeah, I just want to date a doctor or something. But exactly that point, like, doctor is a perceived value. Because if we are really honest, what is being a doctor? Just passing standardized tests, right?
Yeah.
For an extended period of time. It's not a true sign of intelligence, but the society perceives it as intelligence because for most people, it's really hard to work on something for that long,
Yeah.
consistently. So for her, because she is not that intelligent, she looks at societal cues of what's intelligence. And for her, society tells her that being a doctor is intelligence, so she goes for a doctor.
Yeah.
And he had a really tough time connecting with her because that's the stereotypical, socially uh, unintelligent people who perceive social brownie points as this a social status. They're really affected by social status.
Yeah. And I guess you know what, like you kind of need to figure that out with experience. Like if you really want to tell what you want, what you actually want versus like the hype of the society, you really need to experience both sides and then see which fits you. You know, because sometimes kind of feel like, do I like this girl or do I like the idea of this girl? Like I kind of realized that when I was like walking down with this one hot girl. Like she was one of the hottest girls I met. And I could feel other guys looking at me and like, yeah, they're checking out the girl. And it's like, wow, I kind of like this idea. Is this fake dopamine? So I was like, oh, I kind of like the idea of this girl, rather than really liking her.
That's the thing with that girl from my uni that's kind of perceived to be the hottest girl in at uni, and me finally sleeping with her is I realized I don't actually like her that much, and it was just the perceived value. But I knew it before sleeping with her as well. Like it's more about me accomplishing a task.
Yeah.
Me sleeping with her is more about me proving it to myself that I can get the hottest girl at uni.
Mm, yeah.
Interesting, man. All this is very interesting.
Mm,
But it's nice that you understand your own the way it was affecting you, right? Very self-aware that you were
mhm.
able to in that moment analyze and realize that you like that other guys want her.
Yeah. Imagine that what that does to women, bro. I think the ultimate form of that is social proof. Like other girls want that dude, so he must be high value.
I guess other girl, yeah. So that's why they get attracted with social proof, right?
Yeah. And making a lot of money in itself is not that sexy, but like having that image of like a successful entrepreneur, having that image of somebody who gets a lot of girls, that's kind of sexy for them.
Not all of them. Like I said, for me, as I realized that I only want this girl because every guy wants her, I was able to lose attraction. Like I lost my attraction towards her because I didn't actually like her. So
Mm,
I'm thinking for smarter women, it's the same way. That's why you see a lot of these girls who go for guys they have connection with. You walk around in Australia, especially, there'd be super attractive girl with like a weird looking guy. Or
mm,
one of the hottest girls I've ever met, this Belgian girl. She's dating this really weird looking, tall, skinny, scrawny guy. And it makes sense because she was very smart. When I spoke to her, she was making a lot of sarcastic jokes.
Mm,
It makes it clear to me that she was very smart. And
yeah.
what I'm trying to say is like for her, the connection matters more than what society tells her, right? Like
Mm,
maybe money is good or something.
mm. Yeah. Humor is actually like a great indicator of intelligence. That's a good point, man.
Yeah, exactly. And when I first started in the game, I would talk to these dumb girls, and they wouldn't get my jokes, and I would put myself down. I'm like, fuck, man, maybe joking around is not the way to get girls. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that. Sorry, not gotten older. As I've done more game, I've realized that I really like when I can have sarcastic banter with a girl. So I should, and that's when I really succeed. All the girls I've closed, when I think about it, we had really witty banter.
Mm,
And when I'm not doing that, I come across as fake, and like when I try to dumb myself down, it seems very weird because I'm very
yeah.
uncomfortable, and they can sense it anyway.
Mm,
So in a way, I find it much more fun anyway when I'm talking to these
mm.
really intelligent girls. But they can be pretty like it's not like a hot girl can't be smart. Like I've met plenty of women that are really hot and really smart.
Mm. But what do you think about this? Like, I had some thought about ego, and I kind of expanded the meaning around like what ego is. So, when we're trying to explain who we are as like human beings, there's no like clear-cut answer to that. We try to say things like, "Oh, I'm 30 years old, born in XYZ. I have parents who are X, Y, and Z. I'm doing this for work." And ego is kind of a way to explain who you are, right? So it's like a story you make to believe you're somebody, right? The good and the bad. And how
Hmm.
about it? You kind of fit with people who fits your ego. So you kind of like the story they're telling you. They're maybe like they're supporting of your story, they're supporting your journey as a person or in your career. And yeah, you feel more connected to them.
That's just confirmation bias, man. We surround ourselves with people who confirm our views. It's just a group think, right?
Yeah, I didn't get that. Um,
No, I'm saying we surround ourselves with people who confirm our views. It's just confirmation bias.
mm,
You get what I'm trying to say?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know that phrase, birds of a feather flock together.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's exactly it.
that's true. So yeah, that's a thought.
Yeah, no, it's a tale as old as time, you know. People who are like tend to flock together.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm in Belgium. It's so beautiful. I don't know if I can show you. Can you see that?
yeah. Where is
You
it?
see it? Belgium,
Belgium.
Belgium. Yeah, you don't know Belgium?
Of course I know, but I never been there.
Oh, it's amazing, man. Europe is so beautiful. Like anything north of France, Switzerland is very nice. I mean, Italy is also nice, but the infrastructure has gone to shit.
Mm,
Like they don't have any money. Too many people are on welfare. Not too little people doing any GDP activities. Like basically increasing the economy.
yeah, GDP activity. Yeah.
Yeah, there is no GDP. You know, it's only getting worse because they don't have any young population anymore.
Mm.
Like I feel really sorry for them. Like it's just it's uh it's almost over for them. It seemed last when I was there. Yeah, people don't care about work or anything. They
Yeah.
just they just want free stuff. Everyone's blaming the rich.
I think that's like a common concept in like a lot of societies though. Like Korea as well. Like we have like 0.7 rate of birth rate, bro.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean it's over, right, for Korea as well, I guess.
Kind of,
Or
yeah.
do you think so or not really?
For the next 10 years, I think it's gonna be very hard.
Yeah,
Yeah, very hard.
but after that, what? It's gonna
After
be even
that,
worse.
I don't know, man. You never know what's
Yeah,
gonna.
guys. I mean, if the young aren't procreating, right?
Yeah, I think it's because of
It's only gonna get worse.
media culture.
Yeah, yeah. People are too susceptible to that,
Mm,
easily affected.
yeah. Recently, bro, like I made like a document for the clients of mine. I make them find their own bottleneck. So specific questions. So if you do like 20 approaches, like how many numbers do you get? How many lead to first dates? How many lead to second dates? And then helping them find the bottleneck and then giving them more like specific advice, right? Kind of got
Yeah,
that
that's.
from you, bro. Like,
I was gonna say that's like my method. You do approaches, you put it on spreadsheet, X amount of approaches, how many numbers, how many instant dates, how many instant kiss close, how many instant close, how many first date close, second date close. I have all data, bro.
yeah, bro. So thanks to you.
Yeah, it's good. How is it working out for them? Is it improving?
Yeah, it's more clear cut because if I ask them, bro, like, are you getting numbers? Like, and they always say the same thing. It's like, yeah, I think it's okay, it's cool. But for some dudes, it's like 40% success rate. But for other dudes, it's like 50, 60. So you can't really tell whether or not they're telling the truth if you don't have the data.
Also, it could be like some dudes approach easier sets and some dudes approach harder sets, right? Because for me, I realized I go for the hottest girls. So, and I have a friend who doesn't do that, but his success rate is better, but he only gets sevens, maybe sometimes an eight.
Mm, yeah, that's a
There's a
good point.
nuance to everything, right? That's why I put the rating as well in my approaches.
That's a good point too.
Yeah, looking back, I don't think I've closed one that was 7.5, but everyone else 8+, I think,
Mm,
last year.
yeah, that's great, man. That's great.
I just don't find I just can't motivate myself to keep the interaction going if they're below an 8. But recently, bro, it's been getting really hard for me to categorize women. It's either a yes or a no. I can't really put a number anymore. I can't tell. After 7, I can't tell.
What do you mean?
Like the 9s, I know for every time. I know everyone else think they are 9, but for me, difference between her and an 8, it's not anything. I will put both of them 9 or both of them 8.
Mm. Yeah, I think you kind of hit a lot of like fake dopamine points. So you kind of know it's fake. So you're not really motivated to, I don't know, like smash more, maybe.
Yeah, I like conversation now more than just thinking about the looks. But even the looks, man, it's just hard for me. Like this girl who just passed by, she she could be an 8, could be a 9. It's hard to tell for me.
Mm,
That's what I'm trying to say. Or she could even be a 7. I don't know. But it's like yes or no.
yeah.
Like, I can imagine them dressing up really nice and in better clothes and a nice dress. Maybe they look like a 9, you know?
Mm,
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. These days it's hard. Like before, I would have a clear idea. Okay, that's a 9. That's 9.5, 8, 8.2. You know what I mean? But now it's like, oh, she's hot. Or either she's hot or she's not.
mm, yeah. And I think that's part of like having a larger viewpoint. Like not only looking at the looks, like you're evaluating from like everything, personality, conversation,
Yeah,
humor.
like this actress Sydney Sweeney, or maybe not a lot of people know her. Scarlett Johansson. Before I'd be like she's like a 10, but now I'm like she could be an 8. I don't know. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
There's a bit too much hype.
Yeah, just based off looks, like I see plenty of girls on the street that look better. Or what is better? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She has really nice features, really clear skin, really nice lips and eyes. But so does a lot of these girls, you know?
Mm. And if you see a lot of guys getting married, they kind of look alike. You know what I
The
mean?
people who get married.
Yeah. Kind of look alike.
There's a famous study. I don't remember, or not so famous because I always look at obscure studies. But there's a study which says over the course of people's marriage, they start to look similar as well. Because they people who really like each other, they mimic each other's expressions, and when they're doing a lot of smiling together or crying together or whatever, the shape starts to form in a way, the muscles to look
Mm.
alike.
Mm. And also, I think I saw a study where you kind of like people who looks like your mom and dad.
But see that, yeah, maybe for majority of the people. For me, never the case. My mom is like a short, fat Indian lady, and then for me, I like tall, my height girls, like blonde hair, fitness chicks. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it's like, how do they don't look alike, you know?
Yeah. So I guess you know what, like if the theory is right, like if people like people who kind of look like themselves, mm, it's like a social psyop. Like Scarlett Johansson is like hot, like she's like the 10 out of 10 girl. Like everyone has like a different version of 10 out of 10, but since there's so much hype, you kind of think like that's the holy grail.
Yeah. But these days I don't think that. So it's like, for me, like this girl who everyone thinks is hot these days, Ana de Armas, this Latin American actress. For me, she's like a 5, you know? She's short, she has a weird looking face like a chipmunk. I mean, nothing wrong with that, it's just not my thing. But then
Mm,
people say, oh, you're jealous, you can't have her, this and that. I'm like, bro, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't get it. And there's so many hot girls there. It's like a
mm,
running event. And they're all like, maybe if this girl is here, maybe I can wave to her if she's looking at me. Um, oh my god, no, that's a 9. But you wouldn't say she's a 9.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So it's weird doing it in the middle of a podcast, right?
Yeah. Uh,
But interesting. Maybe one day we could be doing approaches in the middle of the podcast, right?
yeah.
That'd be cool.
Maybe giving some live feedback for each other.
Yeah, show them how it's done, like in live. Like that would be quite useful actually. No one's done that, right?
I
I
guess.
guess, yeah, the RSD guys used to have live videos of live recordings, right?
Mm.
Even
Why do
Kyle
you,
has that.
why do you think RSD guys have the most perceived value in the industry?
Oldest first to the game. Everyone thinks that. Like Muhammad Ali. Any mediocre boxer these days would knock the shit out of him, right?
Yeah.
At his prime. But he's the OG, the holy grail, the this and that. Like, so you know what I mean.
Mm.
But there's guys these days who started boxing when they were like 4 and like they have the reaction time of a hawk. They fucking size. They have the size of like Tyson Fury,
Mm.
6'7". What's Muhammad Ali going to do there? You know what I mean?
Mm.
But both are heavyweight. Like I think yeah, Muhammad Ali was heavyweight. That's what I'm saying. It just perceived value is first to the game. He was the first big boxer, first major all over the world one. You know.
Yeah. I think that's the thing about knowledge and skill set. Like you can never get better than like the after generation because they have like an insane amount of advantage.
Exactly. Things get better. Like all the movies. I can't even watch the original Star Wars because the CGI it's non-existent, right? So for me, it's like, ah man, this is shit.
Yeah.
But the new Star Wars are okay. I mean, the story is shit. But what I'm trying to say is like things just keep getting better in the future. People have more tools, more techniques. Filmmaking gets better. Everything gets better, right?
Mm. Yeah.
What was I going to say? There's this industry where it's really prevalent, like really obvious that things have gotten better. I can't remember now.
Yeah. All good.
And today we're out of
We're
ideas, I think.
yeah, we're both lagging today.
I mean, yeah, I think I'm a bit distracted because of all the women. Because there's a running marathon going on, bro. There's so many hot women, you
Yeah.
know. But and then I'm not fully engaged, so you're not fully engaged. And you know, I've told you about Kyle's newsletters, right?
Yeah.
And you say in his newsletters over and over again how you are not fully present. Like when people are trying to do game, they're thinking of what to say next, so they don't really listen and engage in the conversation. And the other person also gets distracted then, and then the conversation just dies out. But if I was like let's do an experiment. I'm going to be fully present now, even though there's so many women running past. I'm going to be fully present, and then we'll
That's
see
a
how it
Matrix
changes. You know.
analogy. The woman in the red dress.
Hmm. What was the thing? Can you? I know Neo sees the woman in the red dress, but what's the knowledge? Like, what was the full thing? Like, can you
So
brush over that?
I guess Morpheus was trying to explain how the Matrix works, and Neo sees a beautiful girl walking by in a red dress. He gets distracted for a second, and then he looks back, and there's a gun pointing at him. So he gets distracted by the shining object, right? Distracting him from like the reality or like the present moment. I think that's the message.
Which is literally what was happening to me, right?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
now I'm more present.
Yeah.
And then my tonality also shifted. I just noticed that because when I'm seeing a hot girl, I start talking like this. I don't know why, because I haven't done a game in a long time.
Mm.
It's been a few months. You
But
know
just
what happened to me yesterday?
what
Sorry,
what happened?
then you speak.
Yeah.
For the first time in a while, I was actually scared because I have Todvi's boot camp next month, right? And I'm like, oh shit, I won't be able to approach anyone. Even though I've instant closed so many girls, I'm still afraid and going in my head
Mm.
like it's all over.
Yeah.
You know, and
You, You know what
It's
happened with my boot camp? It's like for 4 hours, I was nervous with this dude. I was kind of nervous, like this situation. I'm learning something. I used to teach. Now I'm learning, and somebody's evaluating my interaction. So I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I gotta loosen up. I gotta loosen up. Like, all right, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my
How
best.
how did it go, by the way?
It went awesome, to be honest. Like, he gave me a lot of information, like maybe like 15 to 20 pieces of information. But obviously, yes, there were like more important information than others. But yeah, in the end, like women were actually responding better. I could feel that.
What was the format of the boot camp?
So I approach. I record my interactions on my phone. He listens to it like 3 to 5 times. And
Record like
then,
just the voice, right?
yeah, voice memo. And then, yeah, he gives me real time feedback, 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 approach, feedback.
But you take the recording to him, or he's on the phone with you?
In real life, I use my phone to record it. He's next to me, and then he listens in and then gives me feedback.
It's not like the virtual wingman thing where he's in your ear and listening.
No.
Okay, okay. He's like, there's a girl, go approach her. You go, turn the
Yeah,
mic, record it, and then you come back after the interaction.
yeah. And then also see the nonverbals as well.
Yeah, of course, that's important. And then how, like, is it day game, night game? What area is it? Outdoors, indoors? What's
In
the thing
outdoors,
there?
day game.
No indoors.
No indoors. No.
Why not?
That it wasn't the focus, you know.
Yeah, my German coach, he approaches girls in H&M women's section. And the abundance there is insane, All the hot girls are at H&M in the
Oh,
women's section.
I kind of did that. Like I did it in a cafe
Cafe,
in
it's male
Florida.
and female, so it's okay. But
Mm,
going to a women's store and talking to girls there, how insane that is.
mm.
I've done that. I did get kicked out of a bookstore once. I told you that, right?
Yeah.
That really affected me, man. Like, since then, I haven't been able to do it
It's
indoors.
like the Pablo effect, you know?
Yeah, what's that?
Like the dog, like the Pablo's dog.
No, I don't know.
The food and the bell. Like you give it together, and then you just ring the bell with no food, like the dog is drooling. So you get the stick and then you ran away, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way,
Bro, then,
by
yeah,
the
go
way,
on.
like talking about nonverbal communication, like have you heard of mystery? Like the OG?
Yeah, of course I know mystery.
Yeah. So looking at his game, like I saw something interesting, which was um he kind of understands like more specific nonverbal communication, like leaning in, swaying back, and then making it subconscious through body language that the woman is actually chasing me, not the other way around.
Hmm. Maybe he doesn't realize that because one of my friends that I met on a boot camp at Todd V, he hired Mystery actually in Barcelona. He did a boot camp one-on-one with him.
Yeah, I heard he's doing boot camp still. Yeah.
Yeah. And Mystery didn't focus much on nonverbals. He asked him to memorize lines.
Maybe it's because he's that kind of person who needs that help. Maybe.
It didn't help him though. His game didn't improve. He went very disappointed back home.
Okay.
And he's also an Indian guy, so with me, these Indian guys get really jealous. Amog.
You still talk to him?
No, but recently I was looking at my followers and who had unfollowed me, and Amog had unfollowed me, and I was still following him. And I was like, he must be really butthurt. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because I've never been rude to his face, but he, like, you know,
It's because you're hurting his ego, bro. It's like you're
yeah.
showing a version of a human being that could do better. And for some reason, he can't reach that level. So you're devaluating his self worth in a subconscious way.
There's more things as well. Like the other Indian friend of mine. See, he, he doesn't have that much of an ego. He has an ego, but not that much. And he told me straight away, for him, he never approached like blonde European girls because he thought, oh, as an Indian guy, he can't. But when I was on the boot camp, all I was approaching was tall, blonde, really attractive European girls, and then ended up with like 10 numbers and closed on the first night, one blonde Swedish girl. And he said, yeah, I couldn't believe it. But for Amog, maybe a lot of these people, they tell themselves, oh, they're Indian, oh, they're poor, they can't make it. That's why the world it works against them. They've been dealt a bad hand. And then if someone with the same hand as them gets successful at what they had been trying, like Amog started game like 1.5 years before me, right? And then I came in and then completely destroyed.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
So for him, just the lie he could tell himself that, oh, he's Indian, he's short, this or that. Well, I guess I'm tall, but half of the lies he told himself, they don't work anymore. You know what I mean?
mm,
So it's it's a bit of that as well.
yeah.
Also, I think he thought he was better than me. I could see it.
Why? He's trying to give you some advice here and there.
Yeah. He's always trying to give me advice, and then he's also like in India we have a caste system, and Kumars are
Um,
usually a low caste person who have changed their last name to Kumar because they don't want anyone to know. Basically, Kumar means low caste, and he's Joshi, which is like a higher caste guy, and then he sees me get all the girls, so he's like, no way, I'm Joshi or whatever, you know.
way.
Yeah. I think that was a lot of it,
Oh,
even though you never admit to it. But
yeah.
you picked up, like I was picking on intuition, like he thought he was better than me. I had this intuition. But you pointed it out just now, like, because he's trying to give me advice and this and that. And you're right. I think people who think they're better than you, they always try to give you advice.
Yeah.
Unsolicited advice, right?
Yeah. Unsolicited, only based on like personal experience.
Yeah.
Mm. And also, here's a crazy thing, man. Like guys who have zero dating experience, they still give out advice to other guys who
Yeah,
don't have
100%.
experience. That's
I think
crazy.
they give out advice more than other guys who have
Mm.
experience.
What do you think
I,
that's
s-
coming from?
I see it now, why it bugs me so much when someone is trying to give me advice. And if I'm at a higher level than them, it's because they think they're better than me, but they're not. You know what I mean? This is really good thing, right?
What do you mean?
What do
Like,
you think? Is this true? Like, I just had this realization. People who give you advice, they think they're better than you. Unsolicited advice, and they keep trying to give you advice.
mm, yeah, like, but I think it.
Do you think that's the reason, or it's something else?
I think it's both things. Like it's their ego. They want to prove themselves. Like, oh, I have value. Since like I'm that guy who can give out like advice. Like I'm smart, value, ego. And I think the other part is like just not knowing, like not being intelligent enough to realize where they're actually standing, like where their level is at.
Yeah, because I've been noticing all these interactions with guys who are statistically, let's say, I'm not trying to say I'm better than them or anything, statistically have lower success in various parts of their life than me. But
Yeah.
they're the ones always trying to give me advice, and I always take the advice and get swayed. I don't know, because I had lower self-esteem. But these days it's really bugging me. And I say it to their face sometimes
Hmm.
that, bro, why are you giving me advice? You don't know shit or something like that.
Hmm.
But only recently I've figured this out at at a really old age, what I perceive myself to be, you know? I should figure this out like 7, 8 years ago.
Maybe just understand, bro. Like it's just human nature to survive. Like they want to prove themselves. They want to be seen as like high value to survive, right? It's a survival mechanism. So
Yeah, but not everyone does that. You never do that. I ask you for your advice. You never like go. You sometimes say, "Bro, this thing I noticed," like in a nice way, but you never like always trying to give me advice about everything.
I used to be like that when I was young, bro. You don't know
Me
me like
too.
when I was like in my early 20s. I used to be like that.
Me too. Me too. Now these days I don't.
Yeah. But I think it's two things. Like the first thing is like everyone can have their own opinions and it may or may not be close to the truth, but we got to see the numbers and results, right? And the closest thing to seeing reality as it is numbers, like the actual numbers, you know? So people who are
What
talking
do you mean?
in, so for example, like if I ask some
What
dude,
kind of numbers? How do you see reality in numbers?
yeah, so for example, like if I ask a dude, bro, like, can you approach women on the street? A guy who can't approach can also say, like, yeah, bro, totally. Like, I have the confidence. But he doesn't have the numbers. Like, he has zero approaches done, zero success rate. So, but the other guy who says, yeah, bro, I can approach totally. Like, maybe that guy has like better numbers, like 10 approaches, getting two numbers, getting a couple dates. So reality, which means like, oh, is this guy really good with girls? We have to talk in numbers. That's what I'm trying to say.
People should have data to back it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You know, did you just notice that our conversation got better as soon as I was fully into it and stopped looking around at hot women and stuff?
Yeah, it's way much better.
Yeah, I wanted to see that as well, to see it in action, if it really
Mm.
works. So now I'm going to try to be really present. But like what I've learned is try to be really present in the conversation when you're talking to a girl.
Mm, yeah. And also, bro, one thing I learned from the coach is like your reaction matters a lot. And for me, culturally, living in Busan City, which is a very guys are like trying to be alpha males. Like they're not talkative, I would say. They're not loud,
So
like
like,
they're not, yeah, it's like like
yeah.
grounded. Mm. So the reaction, like my dad gives out like these reactions to my mom. It's like my mom says something surprising, and he's like, mm, "That's interesting." so, so you know what? I think there's a right
Is that good
manual.
game?
No, no, no. I don't think so. So no, I think that's hitting like a niche market. To be honest, like girls that like that archetype, it hits. But in a broad pool of girls, I think being more a bit more
Engaging.
engaging is the way to go in general.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I understand. Interesting, no way.
And I think your kind of archetype is more leaned into uh mm, I need more data. Like I just like noticed it, but you're less reactive.
Responsible.
Yeah,
I'm less reactive.
less reactive. It's like
But I am engaged. I think I'm very engaging in conversation.
Yeah, you are. I think there's like a lot of elements to engagement, but yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah, I just got distracted there by this really attractive girl. I just had to look, man. She looks so
I guess
nice.
Belgium is a nice place, man. A good
Oh,
place.
Belgium. I slept with a few. No, two Belgian girls. They are so nice, bro. My first close from day game, like it was day game to a number to a first date close, was a Belgian girl. Man, one of the nicest experiences.
Mm. Like looks, personality.
Everything.
Mm.
You
Okay.
just smoke too much, you know.
They smoke too much.
She particularly smoked too much.
Mm.
Otherwise, I would have dated her.
Yeah.
Just
Bro,
smokes too
why
fucking
not date
much.
one girl?
I'm not gaming, bro, so I'm not meeting any girls.
Mm.
But I'm in Sweden for 2 months. If I meet a really nice girl, I'm gonna date her for like, might even move to Sweden.
Mm.
You know. But
Sweden.
I don't know if that would be a good idea because that's me giving her too much value, right? And she might be like, "Why is this guy moving all the way to Sweden for me?" You know.
I guess it's nice to frame it as like I have
I
something to
wanted
do.
to move to Sweden anyway,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, I do want to move to Sweden anyway. Just fucking, how do I move there? You know, that's the problem. The visa and stuff.
Mm. I have no idea like where you're trying to stay, bro. You're always traveling.
Right, this is my last trip, bro. I'm done, man. I'm burned out. Even like 1 week, even 1 week into it, I was like, man, I just want to stay somewhere, work on fitness, body healing,
Mm.
like work on some projects as well, which I am, like this podcast, one of my projects, right?
Mm.
And I have massively reduced the time I travel. Before, when I was traveling, I would be out till like 9 p.m. and then go to the hotel and sleep.
Mm.
But now I'm just going to the hotel at like 4 or 5. I work on something. Like yesterday, I was working on my health insurance, like claiming and stuff from my septum surgery and health bills. The day before, I was working on my music. The day before that, I was working on this new app I'm trying to build. Today, I'm working on this and then probably the app later. So
Mm.
these days, I'm always like doing multiple
Yeah.
things that I want to work on. And I just want to. The other day, I've never thought of traveling this way. Like I'm always traveling and seeing, I need to see as much as I can because I might never come here again.
Mm.
But this recently, like past week, I've been like, man, all this time I'm wasting traveling. I just want to do the things I want to do. And I
Mm.
think I'm finally at that stage. Because instead of going south from France and seeing Portugal, Spain, and all that French Riviera, I'm going north because I really like Sweden. And Netherlands is going to be the last country I travel and then go to Sweden. And I don't even feel like before I was going to be like, yeah, USA, I need to travel North America, South America, Africa. I'm like, no, I don't care, man. I've seen enough of the world.
Mm.
I'm going to try to get to UK because I like English speaking countries and it's easier to do your forms online and all that shit.
Yeah.
So either go like I will go to UK and then in the summer just go to Sweden and in
That's
winter, peak winter, go to Bali or something.
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I guess you know what, like having these things to do, like whatever is challenging is so important. Like if not, life isn't really that fun.
Without struggle, there's no character, bro. And without character, you're just a blank slate,
Mm.
a brainless twit. You're just like an NPC. You know what I mean?
You're in nice state today, man.
I am
Yeah. And also, this is what
nice.
I was trying to say. Like, your communication, I think, is very naturally flirty.
It is. You think?
Yeah. I think, like, if you really put it into like flirtatious as like man to women, no, I think like in a broader term, it's more like charming communication.
Mm, yeah.
And
Okay.
one more
It's
thing,
like
one more
Chris
thing.
was saying, the way I was talking to the Uber driver is how I need to talk to everyone.
Yeah. One more thing, like my pickup coach, the boot camp coach, he actually made a lot of like physical contact with me, right? Something like Kyle was teaching, like make contact with everyone. And it kind of felt very natural, bro. Very, very natural. It's like he's leading the way, and also it feels like, oh, like I can kind of trust this dude.
That's one thing I'm not good at is breaking the physical barrier. It's
Yeah,
always uncalibrated for me, you know? I
yeah,
think that's one sticking point I really need to focus on because I don't know where to start. I think you're not good at it either, right?
yeah, exactly. So it's like he was naturally like guiding me, like, bro, let's go there, come here. And then grabbing my shoulder, grabbing my arm. I felt okay. It's like fine. Mm,
Yeah, because I guess he was not being too aggressive. He was just like touching, you know?
mm. And also,
A friend, yeah.
like one final thing. So when he was showing me his first approach on the boot camp, he was like tapping the girl's shoulder. It's like, excuse me, right? Like I used to think like maybe that's too much, but I tried it out. He showed me, it was fine, like tapping, like. But the situational circumstance is important, of course.
Yeah, like I've done that when it's like a crowd and you can't really get in front of them. I'm like, hey, and then just tap the shoulder and then move back and give them space.
Mm,
And it works. I've never had like, oh my God, oh, I've never had that.
mm, yeah.
Loudness is very important, bro. Like Sergio says, loudness is very important. And I've been suffering from that. Oh, by the way, on a same thought, like same technique, I was watching this episode on Joe Rogan, this podcast, and this woman, she was learning self-defense, and she said she learned Krav Maga, and first thing they taught her was to scream and take more space because you
Uh,
get naturally more comfortable that way.
mm,
And I've been thinking about that, and there's this thing I used to do is sing along to Tom Walker songs, who has a very larger than life voice, let's say. And it's his voice is just so amazing and so big. And when you sing along with him, you have to really scream with
mm,
him. And that's what I did in this morning, and now my state is better, right?
mm.
Like
Sorry,
really
what?
screaming and like,
Oh. Sorry, what's the
yeah,
point you're trying to make here?
yeah, like I said, like loudness is also very important.
Mm, yeah, but I guess
That,
like,
that and most people don't work on that, and I'd regressed in that way. And then I started noticing my opens were not as good because I wasn't being loud enough.
mm, bro, like one quick thought. I think there's two ways to understand that. So like the nonverbal communication, like are you hitting the volume? Are you hitting the like distance? Do you have the smile? Do you have like the eye contact? Yes, but this is kind of the symptom of like your self-belief. Like what happened in my boot camp was like I had this core idea that I have to be a bit cautious in Korea. Like I have to be a bit more shy looking, like all these things. And I literally couldn't say the line of like, hey, like I want your number. I literally couldn't say it. My brain wasn't really going to that space. All I was saying is like, hey, like maybe like, is it cool if I get your number? Every sentence I was saying is like coming out like this. So maybe like if we change our core self-beliefs, like maybe like I say to my clients, like you gotta tell yourself, like I'm the fucking man, right? Like my time is valuable, but I'm also here to have fun, right? If you have that mindset, like everything like fits in place, but also like you can kind of fake it till you make it as well. So fake it till you make it, get positive results, and then actually reverse engineer it to have better self-belief.
But it's like so ingrained in you because it is right. It is Korea, and the culture is more tight. Like you have to be a bit more careful. So in a way, your brain is protecting you. So how do you actually let go of your natural instincts?
Well, judging by my experience for the last week, Like my success rate has gone up like 10-15%, bro.
Yeah, but you're thinking about it, so you can adjust. But how do you get natural at it that you don't let the surroundings affect you? Because I have that as well. Like with the shops, I got to the point where I told myself it's good, it's great. But then this one time I got kicked out of a bookstore, and then it all came rushing back. These natural instincts don't approach in the shops, shit like that. So it's like when I stop thinking about it, it comes back because I want to focus on something else. So how do we build it up to be a natural at it? And I guess that just comes with more experience.
Yeah. So evidence of proof over promises, I guess.
Just do more.
Do more. Have
That should be
positive
the takeaway with
experiences.
everything. Do more,
Yeah, do more. Do
right?
more. Yeah.
Everything, everything in life. You're trying to get the best body. Do more fitness. Do more.
Yeah.
Eat more clean food. Just do more.
Do more podcasts. Do more videos. Do more
Yeah,
exercise.
you're
Yeah.
trying to get your self confidence up. Yeah, do more. Go up on a stage. Make a
Mm.
fool of yourself.
Bro, what's your
I
thoughts on
would have
this?
never thought. Sorry, bro.
Mm.
But last thing, I would have never thought that I could do a set. Like I went to a lake, stood there like an idiot for an hour with like multiple cameras in front of me, and everyone was looking at me. People were coming at me. Why are you doing it there? Why not at home? I'm like, yeah, it's a nice view. I like it there. And I never thought in my wildest dreams I would have the confidence to do shit like that. I could go on a stage with a million people now and make a fool of myself. I think I have that
Really?
much confidence. Yeah, if like there was like Metallica playing in a concert and they said go up on stage and say I suck dicks in front of these 5 million people or so, broadcast it to the whole world, I would be able to do that. I'd be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you gotta be careful though. If you're out of state, you might become the next new meme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, who cares, man? Like
Mm.
another thing I learned is like all these girls that I really like. Last year, I approached like out of all the thousands of approaches, there are these four girls I really liked.
Mm.
Two of them have boyfriend. One lives in fucking Norway, and then one I sabotaged it because I didn't want to. Like I have different values than her, and I stood my ground on this argument we had, and that ruined the relationship. And I knew it would ruin the relationship if I didn't agree with her there.
So it's like
But
political.
yeah, because she said, "Oh, no one deserves to die," but I was like, "I think you're wrong." And then that was the last text exchange between us. And after that, I did reach out to her, but she never replied.
Mm.
But I knew as because my initial instinct was like, I guess you're right to reply with that. But I said, but that's not what I really want to say. I want to tell her I disagree on this completely. And I knew like there's a 80% chance this is going to end things, and it did. So, but I was able to do that because I realized it's okay. There have been more girls, there will be more girls, or maybe there won't be, but it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
Yeah.
life.
Mm. Yeah. And how you treat your losses is, I think, like one of the most important skill sets you need. Because like, I noticed like there's a balance between like I'm pursuing, but I'm trying not to obsess. And like if you're not trying to obsess, it's like you need to be free of outcome. And how do you do that? Of course, with experience, but I don't think that's the only ingredient for that. Like, what's your thoughts?
There's a caveat to that. Like people always say, don't obsess with something, but the best at things that have ever been are always obsessed with their craft. Like Cristiano Ronaldo, he talks about how obsessed with football he was, and that actually got him to become, at his peak, the best footballer of all time, right?
But also, like, we need to think about the definition of obsession. So some dudes are like really, oh, like, how are people going to perceive me if I score this goal? Score this goal. Like that's their type of low level obsession. But Cristiano Ronaldo is like all about perfection. It's not about how people see
Is
me. It's
yeah, but I wouldn't say that's self consciousness, right? People like thinking about what people perceive you as. That's not obsession.
well, I think for me it
Being
is.
obsessed with something is like thinking about it all day and long night, and like always thinking about how to be better at it.
Yeah, I think that's focus.
That's obsession. Like if you're thinking about something all the time when you're sleeping, being awake, when you're taking a shit, when you're showering, you're always thinking about football or
Let's
game.
just put
That's
it
being obsessed.
different definition.
I think that is obsession, man. See?
My definition of obsession is like whether or not you're ruining your state. Like it could be low level, ego level obsession. It could be any type of obsession. But if you're lowering your state, you're harming your results. So for me, that's obsession.
Mm, I disagree there. You should look into more obsession after this call.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, what you're saying is more something independent of obsession, being obsessive about it or not. Just it's just lowering your state. Maybe we research that and talk about it next time.
yeah, yeah.
But also one thing I realized, I can tell if my state is good or not. If in the morning I wake up, see in the mirror, and if I think I'm an attractive guy, that means today I'm in a good state. If I think I'm ugly as fuck, that means today I'm in a bad state.
Mm. I think maybe it kind of has like a relationship with your like childhood as well, because yeah,
Maybe, probably.
yeah.
Right, bro. I think this was longer than usual.
Yeah,
In the towards the end, I end up focusing. Yeah.
yeah. It's been like 80 minutes, I guess.
Yeah.
Good, good, good. Yeah, let's be consistent,
Keep
man.
posting. Yeah,
Mm,
keep posting. When I get to a spot where I'm like set up nicely, then we can do it even more proper.
Sounds good, man. Nice talking.
All right.
Yeah, we'll
As
see you soon.
always, bro. Talk to you
Yeah.
soon.
All right.